Says it's not working, Paul.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for confirmation on my screen, but I think we're okay, Mr. Mayor, if you would like to start the meeting.
Good evening, councillors, officers and members of the public watching on YouTube. Before starting the business of the meeting, as you may be aware, a former colleague of ours, Alderman Maureen Forshaw, died at the weekend. Our condolences go to her family and friends in their loss. Please may we observe a 1 minute silence to pay our respects.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, colleagues. The first item of business is apologies for absence. Are there any apologies for absence?
Mr. Mayor, I have apologies from Councillor Paul Beattie, Councillor Peter McEwen and Councillor Colleen Cassidy.
Thank you. The next item is declarations of interest. Does any councillor present wish to make a declaration of interest in respect of any item on the agenda?
There are no declarations, Mr. Mayor.
Before proceeding to the main business of this meeting, I would like to say something about my year in office. The time has come to reflect on my year in office and pick some highlights, but I think first we must mention the pandemic. I would like to thank all the people on the council staff who have gone the extra mile to help our community, and also everyone that volunteered their time. It was very much appreciated. I would like to thank in particular the grounds maintenance staff for keeping the town centre flower beds and the parks in pristine condition, with the colourful plants roundabouts and borders looking amazing. My wife and I, in the lockdown, discovered Thoroughsale Woods. They are very well kept by the volunteers, and it has been a lifesaver and a pleasure to walk around and enjoy such a lovely amenity. There have been numerous events that we will remember, but the highlights were when we went to RS Components to see a STEMS exhibition put on for the local schools. There were robots, 3D printers, VR, plus much more. The thing that really got my attention was a Lego display where the children competed in teams to program a robot to complete a course and get points. Later in the year, the competition took place at the Holiday Inn, and the winning team then competed in the regional finals, then go on to the UK finals and the world finals taking place in Las Vegas. We also went to a slot racing event, Scalextrics to me and you. They had their world finals at the Best Western Hotel. There were teams from 40 countries that took part. Who would have thought that we would have a world final in Corby? We have enjoyed every fundraising event that we have organised. It was brilliant to get all the support that we did to make them successful. I have enjoyed every minute of my year in office. As you know, My charity for the year is Lakelands Hospice. I would like to thank all those who have supported us this year. Our family and friends, Shelley and Mary from Mash Dance, Joan and Dave from Dance the Night Away, Denise, Paul and Marina from Lakelands Hospice, Paul Galt, Alison Beattie, Dennis Fitzsimmons, Jane in the print room for all our posters and tickets. Last but not least, my Mayoress Tony. She has supported me 100%, giving her time and effort to all the events that we attended and the fundraisers that we organised. Without her support, it would not have been so enjoyable. Thank you. For my successor, I wish them well, and I would like them to enjoy every minute of their term in office as I did in mine. Waiting for Councillor Watts.
I think Councillor Tom Beattie wishes to come in, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Paul. It obviously falls to me to move a vote of thanks to Ray for his year and a bit as mayor. I don't think he probably expected when he put on the chains in May of last year that he would still be in this position in September 2020. It has been a very unusual year, I think, for all concerned. I think the mayor of the borough has perhaps two major things to ensure that the business of full council runs as it should do, and Ray has done that effectively. He's been a good chair of the council in that respect. The mayor is also a very public-facing role. In effect, you are the face of the council. In fact, I would go further and say you're the face of the town and the borough. And up until, I suppose, lockdown, it was a pretty normal year. You've talked about some of the events that you went to, but from then on, it's been much more difficult to perform that public element of the role, given that we're in lockdown. I know you and your wife, Tony, have put a great deal of effort into the job this year, Ray. I think you should be commended for that. I think also you should be commended for seeing us through this period when the council wasn't able to meet and extended your term of office. So, Mr. Mayor, with that, I would like to formally move a vote of thanks to Mayor Ray Beebe. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Councillor Addison wishes to come in.
Councillor Addison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to echo Councillor Beattie's comments and add my thanks to you and Tony for all the hard work you've done. It couldn't have been easy in the last 6 months, but you've kept going and you've still raised money for your charities. And I'd like to second the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Councillor Watt wishes to come in.
Councillor Watts.
Thank you, Ray. The Conservative group would like to thank you and Tony for another successful year and a half of representing the council and the people of Corby with dignity and grace. Particularly the opening of the West Glebe Outdoor Gym, where you still hold the Chinnock record. And we congratulate you for raising much needed funds for Lakelands. Well done to you and Tony.
Thank you.
There are no other speakers, Mr. Mayor.
No? Okay. May I have nominations?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Mayor, Councillor Dady, has put his hand up.
Councillor Dady.
Right, sorry, I was just waiting until I was asked. That's why I didn't do it sooner. No, I wanted to mention something. Obviously, as being Deputy Mayor, I got to work quite closely with you and Tony. So I just wanted to add my own comments to say well done for what you've done, and you should be proud of what you've achieved. And I also wanted to thank my fellow councillors for giving me the opportunity to be Deputy Mayor. And obviously, apart from the circumstances, it's been a wonderful experience. And I'd like to send good wishes to Lawrence for the year ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm checking again. No, there are no blue hands raised.
Okay. May I have nominations for the election of Mayor for the Borough of Corby for the 2021 municipal year?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move that Councillor Lawrence Ferguson be elected Mayor of the Borough for the 2020-2021 municipal year.
Councillor Addison wishes to come in, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Addison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to second that nomination.
Would Councillor Ferguson indicate by answering yes or no that he is willing to stand for election?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for the election of Mayor of the Borough for the 2021 municipal year?
No hands raised, Mr. Mayor.
There being no other nominations, I hereby declare Councillor Ferguson to be Mayor of the Borough of Corby the 2020-2021 municipal year.
Right, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Ferguson, unfortunately, your partner can't be with us tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you if you don't mind placing the chain on yourself.
Of course. I've been practicing. Watch.
Thank you very much. And if you would please read out the Declaration of Acceptance of Office, please.
Yeah. I, Lawrence Ferguson, having been appointed to the office of Mayor of Corby Borough Council, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. That's fine, but...
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Beebe, is your good lady wife nearby? Or
Yes.
can I invite Tony to present you, please? Oh, hello, Tony. Can I ask your wife to present you with your past mayor's badge, and then for you to present Tony with her gift?
Right. Thank you. Then every for Tony.
Thank you very
There
much.
are some flowers in there somewhere.
Yeah, there are some flowers there somewhere.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we can see them.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, over to you for your opening words.
Dear councillors, officers and members of the public, firstly, may I thank my fellow councillors for electing me as mayor. In 1996, when I was 13, I watched my grandfather, John Wood Cowland, become mayor. I never dreamed that 24 years later, I would be sitting in the same position. It truly is a great honour. But alas, it's also one tinged with sadness, as this is the final occasion on which this council will bestow this honour. May I take this opportunity to give my personal thanks to Ray and Tony for their enormous energy and diligence throughout the last 16 months. They have represented the borough at many events and are to be warmly congratulated. May I also offer thanks to my fellow ward councillor, Anthony, for fulfilling the role of Deputy Mayor over the previous year. We meet in difficult times for the community and the council. The fact that we're having to meet this way is evidence of that. Can I give my personal thanks to the many members of the community, council officers and other partners who have worked tirelessly to support the vulnerable in our local community during these difficult times. The council and the community have come together to ensure that we are meeting the challenges presented. These challenges are likely to be with us for some time. It is customary for the incoming mayor to choose a theme or an issue that they would like to promote during their term in office. Corby is a very green place, especially if you compare it to similar industrial towns. All the work the council, partners and volunteers have put into making the town look as good as it does are a credit to us all. Just look around. Our boat and lake, our woodlands, my favourite Carnation Park, indeed all our parks and open spaces. And how could I not mention our wonderful wildflower roundabouts? It is important that we protect our woods and open spaces and that we encourage people to get out and about and use them, particularly as we are going through a pandemic where health and well-being are so important. In addition, it is customary for the Mayor to nominate a charitable cause for the year in office. Obviously, this is a difficult time, but I intend nominating causes so that as any monies that can be raised will be distributed. Given the circumstances we are in, the work of the Royal British Legion is difficult, and their normal fundraising efforts through the Poppy Appeal will be limited this year. In recognition of this, I will be nominating the Royal British Legion as one of my nominated charities. The second good cause will be the Corby Lottery Fund. This just distributes money to a variety of local good causes, charitable and voluntary groups. Hopefully, all will benefit in some way. In conclusion, I would again like to say thank you, my colleagues, for bestowing me this honour. May I take this opportunity also to thank all previous mayors and deputy mayors for the tremendous work and energy you have brought to this role. You have been superb ambassadors for the borough and shown the best that Corby has to offer. You have epitomised the Corby spirit, deeds, not words. Thank you. There you go. Sorry.
Well done.
So this was the part where I meant to my partner Katerina as consort of the chain of office. Unfortunately, she can't make it, but she has accepted it. So I've obviously got some flowers to get her. Maybe she'll try the chain on another time. May I have nominations for the appointment of Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Corby for 2020-2021 municipal year? Jean.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to nominate Councillor Peter McEwen to be the Deputy Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to second Councillor Peter McEwen.
Unfortunately, Councillor McEwen is currently on holiday, although he has confirmed that he is willing to accept the nomination. So are there any other nominations for appointment of Deputy Mayor of the Borough 2020-2021 municipal year? Okay, there being no other nominations, I hereby declare Councillor McEwen to be the Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Corby for the 2021 municipal year. He will sign the declaration in due course. The next appointments of political groups. The council has been notified of appointments made by the political groups. These are leader and deputy leaders of the majority Labour group, leader and deputy leader of the Conservative group. And I move that the council notes the following appointments. Leader of the Labour group, Councillor John Beattie. Deputy leader of the Labour group, Councillor Jean Edison. Leader of the Conservative group, Councillor Kevin Watt. And deputy leader of the Conservative group, Councillor David Sims. May I see a seconder, please? Thank you.
Second.
Okay, all in favour? Any against? Abstentions? Carried. The next item of business is to elect a leader of the council. Please may I see Councillor Addison to move the nomination of Councillor Tom Beattie and Councillor Mark Pengelly to second that nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It gives me great pleasure to nominate Councillor Tom Beattie. He's done sterling work for the borough over many years, and it's just very sad now that we are coming into our final term, but Tom, I'm sure, will do an excellent job.
And I am pleased to second Tom Beattie, and I echo everything that Jean Addison has said. Congratulations, Tom, and I hope you carry on this year as you've done last year. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, shall we go for a vote? Those in favour? Against? Abstentions? Carried. The next item of business is to appoint the Deputy Leader of the Council. May I see Councillor Tom Beattie to move the nomination for Councillor Addison and Councillor Pengelly for that nomination.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to move the nomination of Councillor Jean Addison as Deputy Mayor, Deputy Leader. I think leaders need to have a deputy that they can work with, a deputy who is supportive, and a deputy who is prepared, obviously, to step in at times when the leader is unavailable. Jean has done that in her time as my deputy. She's done that with great diligence, and I'm more than happy to move her nomination to work with me in the time that we have remaining as Corby Borough Council. Thank you.
Yes, Chair, I'd like to second Jean Addison. I'd like to congratulate her for becoming leader of the Labour group on North Northants, the Labour Council and the North Northants Authority. And like Tom, she's a great job in supporting Tom. The two of them, the amount of work they're doing, they must be zoomed out, but they carry on doing it day in, day out. Well done, and keep up the good work, both of you. Thank you very much, and you'll do us proud.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Nope. Then all in favour? Or any against? Abstentions? Carried. Okay, I invite Councillor Tom Beattie to address the Council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an odd way to make a speech, so bear with me. Mr. Mayor, fellow councillors, officers, members of the press and public who may be looking in on YouTube, once again, thank you for electing me leader of the council for what is the 10th time. It is, of course, a great honour and a responsibility that I take very seriously. Whilst I'm honoured and happy to accept the position, this year, as it has already been referred to, it is tinged with sadness. This will be the last annual meeting of Corby Borough Council that I address as leader. And who would have thought last year that we'd be holding this meeting online? 16 months ago, how many of us had even heard of Zoom? Maybe only those old enough to remember the song of the same name by Fat Larry's band. And what a year and a bit it has been. As you're aware, this council, along with all the other councils in Northamptonshire, will cease to exist on the 31st of March next year. On April the 1st, two new unitary councils, one here in North Northamptonshire and the other in the West, will replace them. As if local government reorganisation wasn't a big enough challenge in itself, we have had to deal with a major health pandemic, the like of which none of us has seen in our lifetimes. All of our efforts have been put into fighting and managing the devastating impact of COVID-19. As I speak, Corby remains on the government's watch list of areas with rising incidences of infection. So I make no apology for reiterating the advice and the guidelines that we have been urging people in Corby to follow. If we do that, we can get on top of this thing, which hasn't gone away, and we can avoid what would be a very damaging local lockdown. It's great credit to the staff here at Corby Borough Council that we have continued to provide the services that our residents expect from their council. In the most trying of circumstances, they have risen magnificently to the challenge. And I would like to pay tribute on behalf of all elected members for their efforts. Rightly, we have applauded our NHS health workers who have been in the front line of the fight against the virus. But when we get back to normality, as we surely will, the role of local government workers should be remembered and celebrated also. Whilst our focus has rightly been on dealing with the pandemic and ensuring that the new council is, to use the parlance, safe and legal on vesting day. We have also been faced with the challenge of establishing a new children's trust to manage the care of our most at-risk children. I think it's true to say that no area has ever faced the combination of challenges that we have had here in Northamptonshire this past year. And yet, the day job goes on. I am particularly proud of the fact that we have continued to build and deliver council houses here in Corby. We have seen the first tenants move into the refurbished Neville House. We have built modular homes at Wilby Close. We purchased property at Priors Hall and have plans to create more homes for rent at Cheltenham Road and Cannock Road. I would like to pay tribute to our former head of housing, Andrew Cotton, for the work that he put in, and Ian Smith, who have jointly filled the breach since Andrew's departure, and obviously working very closely with our lead member for housing, Councillor Bob Isles. We want the new unitary authority in Northamptonshire to continue with that commitment to council housing. Those existing councillors who are seeking election to the new council, I would suggest, have a job to do that. We began this evening by remembering our departed former colleague Maureen Forshaw. Mention of Wilby Close reminds me that we also lost a close friend and colleague last year in Councillor Mary Butcher. I'm very pleased that the housing development at Wilby Close is named after her, Mary Butcher House. I would also like to note the passing of former Councillor Joe Sims. Joe, of course, is the father of our colleague, David. On a personal note, I would like to say it has been the honour of my life to lead this council. On first being asked to be a candidate for election in 2003, I said yes, but only on condition that I will be a backbencher and a ward representative. I have no leadership ambitions. Well, that went well. I have to thank all of those people I have worked with since 2003, many staff, some now departed, elected members from across the political divide, all of our external partners and volunteers. We have achieved a lot here in Corby and should rightly be proud of our achievements. None of it would have happened, though, without the efforts of all those people I have mentioned. I would like to pay particular tribute to our Chief Executive, Norman Stronach, who has been alongside me throughout my leadership. He has been a strong and reliable colleague and friend. And we're not done yet. In the remaining months left to us, I want to work with you all, including opposition members, to ensure that we leave a real legacy for the people of Corby. We won't slip quietly into the night, though. Plans are afoot for us to formally mark the end of Corby Borough Council. All I can say is watch this space, and thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Watt, would you like to respond?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Tom. I'd like to congratulate you, Lawrence and Ekaterina, on your sadly shortened term as Mayor and Consort. I'm absolutely sure that you will represent the Council and the people of Corby with professionalism and dignity. I'm disappointed for you both that the present COVID restrictions have not allowed you to share your inauguration with your family and friends. The Conservative Group would like to thank the Chief Exec, Norman Stronach, and his team of senior officers, and all Corby Borough Council employees for their hard work and dedication, particularly during the recent pandemic and the backdrop of transition to unitary. Corby and its representatives will continue on and play a major role in North Northamptonshire. Corby and Ketterin's shared service demonstrates that amalgamating across councils and adopting best practice leads to success and better services for those that pay for them. We look forward to Northamptonshire becoming a standout authority for delivery of health and wellbeing and new homes. This is particularly important to Corby, which historically has poor health outcomes. Corby has changed much since its pre-steelwork days. The steelworks brought a wave of immigration from Scotland and the town expanded. And this new millennium has brought many people from across Europe that now call Corby home and contribute to our success. Lastly, congratulations to Tom and Jean on your appointments. You inherited a difficult hand when you took over. Jean, I know the Labour Group will be safe and effective in your hands. And I'd like to thank all my fellow and previous borough councillors for their hard work and contributions throughout the history of Corby Borough Council. We may come from opposite sides of the political divide, but we all share a common desire to see Corby prosper. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Please may I see the monitoring officer to present the next item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next item is the membership of committees and panels. Sharp-eyed members will know that we've changed things slightly this year in that we have extended the number of chairs that are to be appointed at this meeting. Normally, Overview and Scrutiny Panel and Standards Committee appoint their own chairs at their first meetings of the year. Because of the situation we're in, we're proposing, obviously, that those chairs are appointed at this meeting together with the normal committees that we would normally appoint. The memberships for the committees have been received from the groups. I note, I think, two items on the sheet before you titled nominations. I believe, and somebody from the Labour Group can confirm, that the Vice Chair nomination for the Development Control is now Councillor Isles. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Paul.
Thank you. And I would also point out that the Vice Chair for Overview and Scrutiny, there aren't any nominations currently, and that will have to be dealt with by that committee. However, the nomination for Chair of Councillor Bridget Watts, it has been tabled. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I need to say in way of introduction.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we've received the nominations from the political groups for membership of the council's committees and panels for the new municipal year. May I see a mover and a seconder for the recommendations 1 to 9, confirming membership of committees and panels and chairing arrangements for 2020-2021.
Move.
Thank you. All in favour? Any against? Abstentions? Carried. The next item of business are the nominations for the positions of lead members for the municipal year 2020-2021. Nominations have been received and are detailed on the papers circulated. May I see a mover and a seconder for these nominations? Thank you.
Move.
Yeah, seconded then. Mark beat me to it.
Are there any other nominations for any of the positions? No. Okay, vote. All in favour? Any against? Abstentions? Carried. Nominations have been requested for membership of the Local Government Association, the Police and Crime Commissioner Scrutiny Panel, Northamptonshire Joint Committee, Northamptonshire Joint Delivery Committee, and the Joint Committee Street Scene. These are detailed on your agenda papers. Please may I see a mover and seconder for the nominations detailed. Thank you.
Move.
Okay.
Second.
All in favour? Any against? Abstentions? Carried. Okay, so that concludes the business on the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, on a point of
Yep.
order, point of clarification, please. I've got apologies from East Elliston. That's one thing I want to raise. Second thing is, does the council end on vesting day or does it end on a day in May?
Corby Borough Council ceases to be on the 31st of March 2021.
Yeah, that's my understanding too.
Thank you. It's just some people have been asking me. I know when vesting day is. I just want to make sure that was the same. Thank you.
Anyone else for anything? Okay, well, that concludes the business of the agenda. I would love to invite you all for a drink and a buffet, but rule of 6, so I declare the meeting
Have a
closed.
glass of water. Cheers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Congratulations, Lawrence. Well done.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
well
Lawrence.
done.
Yeah.
It's my last social media.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank
There's
you.
only 6 left now, Lawrence.
All right, I'm just going to go and deactivate my social media now. Bye.
Congratulations.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.